I wanted to make this video to tell you what I believe is Black culture. Now, I know that many people believe that Black culture is the music, the food, all the amenities that we enjoy around the world. But to me, that's not Black culture. Those are elements that come out of Black culture, but it isn't Black culture itself. My understanding of Black culture is that it's composed of three things. It's composed of a group of people who think a certain way, act a certain way, and have a certain attitude for life. Those are the three things that I can see as a culture. And I contend that Black culture is subpar in all these three areas. So, why do I hold to these three things? Because these three things are the ingredients that make a society thrive or be bad and backward. Right? So when you have a culture that thinks properly, meaning that it's self reliant, it's moral, it's ethical, it's virtuous, it's hardworking, that culture will produce good works because when you think properly, you're able to act properly, right? But then if it has a good attitude for life, it's positive even when there's times when you can't be positive, but it's positive nonetheless. It has this never give up attitude. It has faith in itself, perseverance. When it has these traits, then the culture produces very, very good fruit. So you see it in the music. The music, instead of it talking about temporal things or let's say very unethical things like having sex with women, premarital sex, and doing drugs and everything, it's going to be talking about higher concepts like uh, fidelity to one's country, being a good citizen, being a good man of God, loving people just as much as you love yourself. These are concepts that that culture would produce, right? And then when you look at the food, they would be eating properly. Instead of eating junk food, they're going to be eating healthy so then you can live longer. So then you can have fewer health problems, right? So a culture that has these three ingredients in place and it does it very well, they're going to produce very good fruit. But a culture that doesn't have these three ingredients in place produces very bad fruit. So when you look at the music, instead of the music being talking about uplifting things, it's going to be talking about things that are very violent, very unethical, very backward, and very destructive, right? Instead of the food being healthy and giving you fewer health problems, you're going to be overweight, you're going to have more health problems, and you're going to have a shorter life, right? So the culture that these three things produce very bad fruit for the people who belong to that culture. And if you don't believe me, look at Africa and look at Europe and look at East Asia. Europe and East Asia have decent cultures and they're able to produce good fruit. Africa has a horrendous, absolutely atrocious culture. And look at Africa today. It's worse now than it was in the 1950s when it was under colonialism. So that tells you that the culture is bad. That's why I'm saying we need to get rid of Black culture. And the way you get rid of Black culture is by changing these three things. You change the way you think. You start thinking properly. Instead of you thinking about yourself and yourself alone and living according to temporary pursuits and not thinking long term, not trying to expand your horizons, you think of higher things. You go about thinking according to principle rather than according to your feelings. You think about trying to up level your intellect, thinking logically instead of emotionally. You got to sharpen the way you think because thinking isn't very easy. It takes a lot of work to think. So that's one. Two, when you think properly, you're able to do things properly. Because if you can think in terms of principles, then your actions will be oriented according to that principle. So most of the time, if you think properly, you will act properly. And then if you have a good attitude, if you have good ethical training where you have faith, you have perseverance, you have the ideas of being courageous when you need to be courageous, when you learn these things and you're able to do it and you have a positive attitude for life, even though things get hard, you're still positive. Then you can produce this culture where the rap music, instead of it talking about having sex with a bunch of women, it talk about how to build a community. How can we go about making this world a better place? And then sooner or later, you won't be talking about Black oppression anymore because you realize that it's all in your power, right? It's all in your power. So when I say get rid of Black culture, I'm saying destroy these three things that are holding Black people back: bad thinking, poor actions, horrible attitude, and replace it with good thinking, good actions, and a very good, outstanding attitude. If we can do these three things, then we can get rid of Black culture, replace it with a new culture, and then the music that we have will reveal something that's much greater. So I don't even say ban rap music because I hear that a lot. Don't ban rap music. Don't change the way you eat just yet, but put the seeds in place where people can change their thinking voluntarily. And then naturally, the food will change where they'll be eating healthier. The music will change where they'll be talking about higher things, and things will be much better as a result. So I hope my views are very clear. Let me know in the comment section if you have any objections, and then we'll just take it from there. Thank you for your time.